everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a very interesting one for you where I talk about what are, in my opinion, the top 10 cards that should never have been made. Let's jump into it. Okay, actually, maybe I should have called this actually the top 10 cards that should never have been made except for the game changers, because I didn't want this to just be a list of the game changers when I started off making the list. Like, oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one. Oh wait, all these are game changers because, yeah, game changers are very pushed or obnoxious, and that's kind of why they're game changers, and cards that are kind of marked separately. So I'm not just doing a list of game changers. This cards that are outside of the game changers. So yeah, Ristic Study, a card that, in my opinion, never should have been made. It wasn't problematic, for a one-on-one format, but in multiplayer, it's obnoxious and OP. Fierce Guardianship, a card that's specifically for Commander, another example where it's like, oh yeah, hey, if you got your Commander, free counterspell. Obnoxious, in my opinion, and overpowered and pushed. Narset as well, asymmetrical, hey, you've got a wheel. You win the game, basically, kind of a card. Yeah, another card that probably should never have been made, but again, a game changer now, apparently. So outside of the game changers, though, because this list could just go on and on and on and all be game changers, like Smothering Tithe, Cyclonic Rift, etc. Sure. Let's talk about the cards that are the top 10 on my list outside of the game changers. Now, with that said, let's jump into that. First up, we've got Roaming Throne. Now, some of you, many of you even, might disagree with this pick, or many of my picks, and that's completely okay, but Roaming Throne to me was a card like, why, Wizards? Why did you print this, other than just to sell it, essentially? Which, yeah, you knew it was going to be expensive when you made it, but it's a card that did not need to exist. Is it powerful enough? Is it pushed enough for it ever to be banned? No. But is it just something that doesn't need to be in the format, in my opinion? Yeah, because it's just too easy to slap in an absurd amount of decks, and you literally put, like, no restrictions on it. Again, when it comes to restrictions, there are certain ones out there that I personally don't like when it comes to, like, activate only as a sorcery, or, triggers like once each turn kind of things. Like, okay, sometimes those are needed. Most of the time, they are not. And with this one, though, there's literally, like, no restrictions at all. And, like, the veil of, like, oh, this is for, like, tribal decks. Sure, but yeah, but that and basically any commander out there that has, well, a requirement. Here we go. I should have said the card first. A 4/4 golem with ward 2 for 4 mana enters the battlefield. Choose a creature type. It is the chosen type in addition to other types. If a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers additional time. Okay. So again, like, yeah, you could argue, like, oh, it's for tribal decks specifically. Already for tribal decks, yeah, it's an incredibly powerful card, doubling up on all of those triggers. Great. But literally, this can just be, oh, hey, does your commander have a triggered ability? Yes. Do you want to build your deck around that? Yes. Okay, here's a second commander, basically. That's just basically what this is. Basically, for any deck out there, it just doubles up the effectiveness of your commander. And yes, there's a reason why this is a $30 card. And let's just throw Ward 2 on it because it needed Ward 2. And also, let's not restrict its color to any at all, so any deck can play it. It's a card to me where, again, it's not pushed enough that it needs to be banned, ever. It probably, maybe it won't even be ever a game changer either. But it is a card that's going to see an absurd amount of play. They literally just didn't restrict it at all, didn't put any kind of mana value on it that would make it so it's only for specific kinds of decks out there. Or, again, restrict it so it's like, maybe even if they literally said, like, if a triggered ability of another non-legendary creature you control triggers. If they literally said that, that would improve this card so much in my mind, because at least then they wouldn't have to lie and say, like, oh yeah, this is just for tribal. No, it's not. It is for, essentially, literally any commander out there that has a triggered ability, which is more than the number of tribal decks out there. So it is a card that's like, you know what? It's pushed. It's a card that, again, didn't need to exist in the first place. We don't need to make it just so much easier. Like, okay, yeah, play commander on easy mode. Here you go, yeah. Your commander deck is built around your commander with this trigger. Let's just double it up for you. Let's just make it super simple. Like, just like, so, yeah, it just is something where it's like, it's a no-brainer to throw in certain decks. So, it's just something that didn't need to exist. They could have restricted it. They didn't restrict it, or just not make it in the first place. Wizards, and you threw Ward 2 on there. You threw Ward 2 on there for some reason. I don't know why. Wizards, you shouldn't have ever made this one. Let's keep going with another creature. We've got Displacer, Kitten, another card that I think never should have been printed ever in the first place. This is a card that is a 2/2 cat beast for 4 mana in blue. says, hey, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to one target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. This card is just like, I mean, all of the work that goes into building certain decks, you know? And again, this just puts it on easy mode. When this thing is in play, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, this is an ETB deck. What's good with ETBs? Blink effects. Okay, super easy to use and abuse blink effect on this one. Great. That's just great. Yeah, it is so push. It's so obnoxiously easy that it's like eye-rolly when this thing comes into play. And then also it's like, well, again, hard to deal with. It's also something that is, again, very combo-centric as well, like combos with a ham sandwich kind of a thing. It is a card that never needed to exist. It's a card that, like, again, they just push to a certain point where they're like, we know this is going to be popular. We know this is going to be good. We know that there's going to be an audience for it. We know there's going to be a demand for it. Blink decks or, you know, ETB decks are very popular. Here, let's just do something that is above and beyond a lot of other effects out there. Again, usually it's like, oh, okay, Conjurer's Closet type things. Okay, at the end of the turn, you get it once. Or again, like blink effects that are just one-off effects. Or you actually have to pay for them that aren't repeatable, like, you know, Deadeye Navigator as well. But yes, this one's just like, no. Hey, are you casting any kind of a non-creature spell? Not even like it's a sorcery. No, non-creature even. Like, you know, the restriction's not even that much. Okay, cool. Blink whatever. Again, non-land permanent. Doesn't even specify just creatures, right? Any non-land permanent you control. Okay, so if you've got an artifact with an ETB, an enchantment with an ETB, or again, if an opponent's trying to get rid of one of your artifacts or enchantments, I didn't even talk about that, like the actual, oh, this can also just be protection too. Yeah, this does too much. It does way too much. You can be like, well, it's just a 2/2. I don't care. Again, Rolling Throne's a 4/4. It doesn't matter. Like the actual power toughness does not matter on these creatures when they just have really pushed effects that, again, are above and beyond other things that you don't see. And it's like, Wizards just knows that this is going to be a chase card, inexpensive card, and it's like, yeah, okay. Players are going to play it, and yeah, let's put it in there, and it does this. And like every single Blink deck wants this one now. Oh, good. Ha 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 ha. It also combos with way too many things. Does not need to exist. Wizards, you should never have printed it. Let's keep things rolling. Wizards, some boxes, but Pandora's boxes? Okay, they're messing up the phrase. Some doors are never meant to be opened. There we go. Let's go with that one. Nyxbloom Ancient is a door you should not have opened. Oh my goodness. A 5/5 elemental. That is an enchantment creature that has trample for 7 mana in green. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much of that mana instead. Yet another card where it's like, okay, you made it. You knew it was going to be expensive the second that you made it. All right. What do players love? Mana. What do they love? Doubling effects. But what do they love even more? Tripling effects. Oh my goodness. It's like, I think you printed Fire Emancipation before this one. You're like, the very first tripler. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow, this is so innovative. We went from doing things doubly to triply. Cool. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Let's just step that up from like damage doubling and tripling to now, oh, what's like one of the most powerful things in Magic? Mana. Getting mana. Resources. Okay, if this is in play, you basically just win the game. I mean, if you spend all the mana on your turn, to get this out, and then you wait a full turn, I guess, and it survives, I should say. Then there you go. That's your one opportunity, opponents, to stop that person. Because if not, again, like, let's just say, like, regular, okay? Just regularly, they have 7 mana, all right? They don't even gain an extra mana on the next turn, all right? They have this in play. Now all of a sudden they've got 21 mana. If you have 21 mana, you should be able to win the game. You should just be able to win the game. This is just, I win the game because I played card that says I win the game type card. And yes, there's other cards that do that, but again, like, literally not restricting this for anything. Like again, any permanent for mana. Could be a land, could be a Mandor, could be a mana rock. It doesn't matter. It's 3 times as much mana. Oh my goodness. Again, there's nothing else comparable to this one. We've got a lot of mana doublers out there these days. A good amount, I would say. But yeah, this is like, no. Some of those mana doublers are just for, like your creatures or your lands. This is just like everything in times 3. So you basically just win. Yeah, it is a card that never need to exist again. A Pandora's box that never need to open. There we go. A door that never need to be opened. Apparently things that just didn't need to be. Keep those closed, okay? Keep those closed, all right? Nyxbloom Ancient, you should never been printed. Get ready for what's coming up next, because many of you might be upset with me for saying this one because it sees play in such a high percentage of decks out there. Boseiju, who endures, I'm kind of just utilizing this as basically like all of those channel lands, basically. This is probably I think the most popular one, the most powerful one. But yeah, all the other ones, I think blue is very powerful as well. Regardless, these lands did not need to exist. There's a reason why this is like $34, okay? Legendary land that taps for a green. Doesn't enter tapped. That doesn't there's no downside to it, except it's not a basic, I guess. They could have thrown Forest on it, and then, yeah, should have been better, I guess. But, of course, for legendary decks, this actually helps you as well, because it is legendary. You could, like, tutor for it with certain things. You can get benefits with, like, the number of legends in play, etc. That being said, here we go. Channel for 1 and a green. Discard it. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. That player may search the library for a land card with a basic land type put on the battlefield, then shuffle. Its ability costs 1 less for each legendary creature you control. It did not need that reduction. It did not need that reduction at all. You don't need to make this cost just 1 because the commander's in play. Like, I don't... Goodness gracious, Wizards. Again, when you were like, okay, yeah, you know what? We want players to have more flexibility with their lands, because that would just be awful if players couldn't do things quicker or, have more of choices, essentially, right? And I am a fan of, like, MDFCs in general, right? I'm a fan of those kind of things where it's like, okay, you can have this kind of a spell, but on the backside is a slower land, or one that punishes you at least a little bit, especially the slower lands I'm more fine with. But, again, like, okay, you've got the flexibility, but you don't have both worlds. This gives you both worlds. This literally just says, hey, you know what? No downside to the land. You can tap right away for mana. Good for you. No slowness on this. Oh, by the way, also, you've got a pretty efficient removal spell. Oh, no! You ramped the opponent who you destroyed their thing. Who cares? Oh, my, it doesn't matter. Again, like, if you're using this to do that, you're like, yeah, that's a really problematic thing over there that you've got Smothering Tithe. Yeah, let's get rid of that with my land. Okay. Oh, and by the way, that just cost me 1 mana to do that. Yep. Or again, if an opponent has a Gaia's Cradle in play, it gives you that flexibility. Again, this is more flexible than other removal spells at the same mana value, at 2. But again, it gives you 1. And yeah, okay, yeah, it's like a Path to Exile, right? You give the player a land. But like, again, yeah, I'll replace a Gaia's Cradle with another land. I will replace a Smothering Tithe with a land. I will replace things that I actually want to get rid of with a land and say, I don't care that you just ramped a little bit. I got rid of something that was very impactful for you. And again, I just spent literally 1 mana to do this. And I also get synergies with like discard synergies too. These are super pushed. Again, the fact that they come into play untapped, there's no downside at all, literally, other than them just being a land that's non-basic and doesn't have a basic land type, I guess is the one downside. But again, is that really that much of a downside compared to other things? This is insanely pushed. Wizards, you should never have printed it. Things are just heating up, though, because next up, green. Okay, green, when I grew up, when I was growing up, green was my favorite color, okay? It was. When it comes to Magic, just like, okay, big dumb creatures. Get big dumb creatures out and hit with big dumb creatures. Maybe have some combat tricks. Cool. Giant growth. Yay, awesome. Cool. And then these days, green has kind of lost its color identity, in my opinion, where it just does everything. It's just like, green, you get all the things. You get mana. You get card draw. The 2 most powerful things in Magic, the 2 most powerful things in Commander, I would say, you get both of those things. Guardian Project, sure. Goodness gracious, Wizards. Again, you're like, we limited it, don't worry. No, you didn't. Enchant for 4 mana in green. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. Literally, this is like, I'll reword this for you, okay? And it does the exact same thing. Okay. Here we go. Are you playing Commander? If so, whenever a non-token creature enters, you draw. That's literally it. This is the exact same thing as that. Sure, I guess, like Relentless Rats, Persistent Petitioners decks. Okay, you can't use it then in those kinds of decks, okay? All right. But still, this is literally the exact same thing. It's like, are you playing Commander? Creature, enter, you draw. Okay, it does at least restrict it for non-token. Thank goodness they restricted it in that way. But again, it's on enter. It doesn't have a cast requirement. It is literally just, okay, green, you have creatures coming to play, you draw cards. Green, you just get absurd card draw engines that should not exist. Green should not have better draw than both blue and black, but it kind of does in a way. Like, the amount of absurd card draw that you get in green, yes, it's quote-unquote restrictive because you have to have creatures coming to play. But you're playing green and you're going to have creatures coming to play, and there's so many ways to utilize that, to use and abuse that, to get an absurd amount of card draw off of it. And again, You can lie to yourself all you want and say that this has a restriction on it, but it doesn't. The only restriction on it is that's non-token. That is literally it. It's saying like, well, you know what? I guess you could say like, okay, it was made for their format. Like, sure, it was made for their format, but like, they make everything these days with Commander in mind. They make literally everything these days with Commander in mind. Every single card is made with Commander in mind. How does this impact Commander is always thought of. And with this one, it's like, yeah, you're not convincing me that this is like, well, they were just making it for standard, and it would have been too push for standard to be like, well, any creature coming into play. No. They knew what they were doing. They made a push card for Commander, and it's a card that never should have existed. I'm sorry, Green. I love you, Green. I love you so much still. I really do. It's a tough relationship, though, because you're doing things you shouldn't be able to do, and I really wish it just kind of more stuck to its, roots. Green, trees, anyways. Instead of it being like, yeah, you get everything. You get absolutely everything. So, yeah, please, Green, slow down and stop printing things like Guardian Project because they shouldn't exist. Wizards, stop it. We're just getting started. Next up, well, okay, it's not just all green that I'm going to be, making players upset that are fans of that color because Exquisite Blood, I'm sorry, but I don't think this card should have ever been printed. In Chim for 5 mana in black, whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Again, a card that is completely fine in a one-on-one format. In a multiplayer format like Commander, obviously this gets exponentially better, not to mention the fact that this combos with a ham sandwich these days. Yes, Sanguine Bond, but of course many other things like Rotting Blight Priest, etc. Yeah. Again, there are so many ways to like, hey, whenever you gain life, opponent loses life. Oh, okay, well, all of a sudden this just, goes infinite with this, and you just, make opponents lose. Again, rules lawyers out there, I know, not infinite, but, until the opponents lose, it goes on. Even if it didn't have all those ways to go infinite, it's still just an obnoxious card that really should have never been printed with multiplayer in mind. I mean, because, hey, literally, you're just like, you're doing nothing. You just have this in play, and you're doing absolutely nothing. If an opponent attacks another opponent because, like, that's, like, the best play for them. Oh, okay, that player just lost 10 life. All right, you just happen to gain 10 life. Awesome, cool, good for me. I did nothing for this. I did absolutely nothing for this. I gained 10 life. Player plays a Shockland. Okay, I gained 2 life. I didn't do anything for that. This is a card where, like, you just get absurd amounts of value that you should not be able to get for just sitting back and doing absolutely nothing. And, of course, when you are doing things, you're gaining even more life with it. And also, again, it literally combos with too many things. It combos with a ham sandwich. If a player plays this card, they cannot convince me they do not have one other card in that entire deck that literally does not combo with this. There's no way. There's like 20 plus things that combo with this. There's no way you don't have one of them in that deck. You probably have Sanguine Bond, I am assuming, but still. There's no way. There's literally no way. Unless you show me your entire deck list ahead of time and you show me that there's nothing combos with Exquisite Blood. Yeah, okay. I'm still targeting you anyways because Exquisite Blood is super pushed, super powerful multiplayer. Again, it's completely fine in one-on-one, and that's kind of the thing, like, with many cards that, maybe, are fine with a one-on-one scenario, it's a card that maybe should have been printed if it was Commander in mind, because it's a card that, again, isn't ban-worthy. It's not ban-worthy. Maybe it could be a card that could be a game changer someday. I don't know, but still, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's a card that should never have been printed in the first place. I am very sorry for Exquisite Blood fans out there. It is a card that should never exist. Next up, we're going back to green. I am so sorry, but I'm not sorry. Doubling season, I'm coming for you specifically. You should never have been printed in the first place. Ever. This is probably one of the first, doublers out there ever, but again, the way that they didn't restrict it at all and is super relevant, and literally, again, I mean, anytime I'm kind of doing an episode, on a new card, and it's like, hey, new card, and, if it happens to work with doubling season, which many things work with doubling season, and I don't mention doubling season, I get comments, and it's just like, what about doubling season? Why didn't you mention that? I was like, because it's obvious. It's super obvious that it works with basically everything. Enchantment for 5 mana in green. If an effect would create one or more tokens on your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. If an effect would put one or more counters on a permanent you control, it puts twice that many of those counters on permanent instead. Again, literally, no restrictions at all on this. Literally, it does not say, hey, effect create one or more creature tokens you control. No. That was not a limitation. Again, back in the day when this was printed initially, obviously, treasures weren't a thing. So, treasures obviously go ham with this. Even without that, though, still doubling up your creature tokens, doubling up any of your tokens is insanely powerful. And at 5 mana, it's well worth that already. sure, we also have like parallel lives and things like that as well, and like other things now. Annoying Procession, things that like double up, you know, the number of tokens you're making as well, that are less cost effective, or more cost effective, I should say. But those also don't just inherently double up all of your counters. And again, those counters aren't limited either. Again, when we're getting things these days, typically it's like double the number of +1 counters that you're putting on things, basically. This is so non-specific that it's, again, any kind of a counter. So also, kind of like Exquisite Blood, if you are playing a Super Friends deck, yeah, you're comboing with this. You are literally just going, okay, doubling season, and then I've got to wait for you to play Miscellaneous Planeswalker that's got an ultimate that when you get doubling number of loyalty counters on it, which again, usually would take you some time to get there, but doesn't at all with this, because this is just a cheat code Planeswalker win, yay. Kind of takes away, in my opinion, the fun of Planeswalkers, because like the fun of Planeswalkers is supposed to be like you're building up to that ultimate, whereas this is just like, I played a combo, I won, okay, original. Yeah, this is a card where, again, it doubles up in loyalty abilities, making it so that ultimates can go right away and you just win. This can combo with a lot of things. Again, it has no restrictions on it at all. It gives you all the tokens you could ever want for whatever kind of thing that you want. Again, creature tokens, treasure tokens, clue tokens, whatever it is. It's a card that is just so pushed, so out there. And so becoming more and more problematic, I would say, over the years, basically, just on the number of decks that it should be included in, the number of things that it's broken with, basically. And maybe initially it was fine. These days, though, it's just like, wow, that is a push card. It's definitely one that, in my opinion, probably will become a game changer someday. It will never be banned, but it is a card that, again, just should not have been made in the first place because, yeah, again, some Pandora's boxes, some doors, whatever, should never have been opened. Okay, I need to be honest on this one. This is, many of the other ones are like, okay, like they're pushed, like they're very pushed cards that like just, you shouldn't have made. This is one where I just have a personal vendetta against because it's not necessarily pushed, it's just obnoxious in how this works, and I hate rules lawyering. I hate cards where you play them and it doesn't make any sense at all to a new player because of the way that this was made. The intention behind the card does not equal what the card actually does, because what this intention was for this is, oh, okay, like I'm swinging with my creatures. I should probably read the card. Reconnaissance, an enchant for a single white mana, pay 0, remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. And it says specifically that creature neither deals nor receives combat damage this turn. The intention is literally like, oh, okay, get out of jail free card in combat, kind of like a pseudo vigilance in a way. But like, all right, like, hey, I'm swinging. Oh, I don't like the way that block happened. I don't like the way that happened where my creature, you know, is going to get taken out now. All right, let's take that out of combat, and I'm good now. But what happens is, this actually is a rules lawyery type card where, oh, okay, technically, even after dealing combat damage, I'm still an attacking creature. Therefore, you can remove me from combat. And again, even though it specifically says, like, again, like where you think it would make sense, that creature neither deals nor receives combat damage this turn, you can remove it from combat after already dealt the damage, so then it just negates whatever that was, basically. So literally, you are just utilizing this to rules lawyer to get around a rule where, again, the intention of this card is just supposed to be like, hey, pseudo-vigilance-ish, kind of, like, but get me out of jail free card if I need it for my creatures. Instead, it's literally like, okay, yeah, I attack. Yeah, they're getting through. I take, away the ones that need to be taken away, like that got blocked, actually. And I don't want them to get taken out. But then the ones that got through, I can still basically just untap them after they already dealt the combat damage anyways. It's just an obnoxious rules lawyery type card that I absolutely cannot stand, especially when players play it and then act like they're so smart, and then like newer players out there are like very confused, and then like the older players are like, well, you should just know that. You should just accept that I understand it. Like, come on. This is a card that, again, they literally should just errata to like make it so that you have to take them out at a certain point of combat where it actually makes sense before damage is dealt. It should be errated in that way, because then it would actually make sense with what says on the card. Again, that creature neither deals nor receives combat damage this turn. It's obnoxious. They should never have printed it, or they should have printed it where it actually made sense to players out there instead of the way that it is. Wizards, fix it by errating it, please. Pay close attention to this next one, because Skullclamp, yeah, I'm coming for you as well. Now, this one is different again. Okay, so the other ones so far have been, like, overly pushed, like, obviously pushed, or, like, ones that Wizards just like, we want to sell packs for this one. Roaming Throne, yes, ha 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 ha, yes. No, this one is, like, they literally just made a mistake. and because of that really, really bad mistake, it's just an incredibly pushed card. Okay, so Skullclamp, an equipment for 1 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/-1. Okay. All right, there you go. So there's a downside to this card, right? The -1/-1's a downside. Nope. Equip 1. Whenever equipped creature dies, you draw 2 cards. Okay. So yeah, literally, again, you literally took what was supposed to be a downside, turned it into an upside because you actually actively want to take out your creatures, obviously, with this. This is like, okay, I make a bunch of 1/1 tokens, I pay 1, I draw 2, I pay 1, I draw 2, I pay 1, I draw 2. Or if you have like something that makes equipping free, it's like, equip free, draw 2, equip free, draw 2. This is an absurd card value engine that, again, there's like nothing else like it at all, because like what other equipment out there gives you this much value and again actively does what you want it to do? Is like, hey, you know what, you don't need a sacrifice outlet, you don't need to send your creature into combat, you just literally need to equip this to like creatures that have 1 toughness and you take them out. That's all you need to do. So again, literally because they made a mistake on printing the card by like, oh, okay, yeah, -1, we're going to use that as a downside. No. You literally would have made this a worse card if you had given the creature +1/+10. If you literally, like, I mean, I maybe +10's a bit aggressive, but still, if you literally had +1/+0, +1 whatever number you want to put in that toughness, anything but a minus. Anything but a minus. The minus actively makes it better when, again, the justification for the card was to make it worse. It is a card that is, because of the mistake in actually making it this way, is super pushed. It's like, again, kind of like a Nadu mistake where it's like, oh, all right, we thought this card was going to be bad for Commander, so we completely changed it, but like last minute, and then didn't test it, and all of a sudden now, now actually this version's problematic. And this one's like, oh yeah, initially it wasn't the -1, but now it is, and ship it! Oh gosh, oh my goodness, what is it doing? It is just a card that, again, should never have existed in the first place. It shouldn't be made the way it was. Yeah, Wizards, you made a mistake here. This should never have been printed. And finally, I am so sorry, literally every Commander player out there, but Sol Ring, here's the deal. Again, and I'm kind of cheating on this one, but because technically, according to Wizards, this is not a game changer somehow. Sol Ring, yeah, you made this list. You should never have been printed. An artifact for 1 that has tap, add 2. Yeah, that is insanely overpowered. That is insanely pushed. That is insanely the most powerful card in Commander, basically. This is an absurdly pushed card. And yes, I know the justification for Sol Ring is that, well, hey, everyone. It's okay because we all can play it. It's budget friendly, right? Like, they keep reprinting it. It's budget friendly. Everyone can play it. To me, that's not a justification for this should be made legal or kept legal. That technically, okay? And I guess this isn't an argument for like whether it should be banned or not. It should, in my opinion. It is a card that literally, again, should never have been printed in the first place because they didn't understand what they were doing with mana way back when. They did not understand the implications of a lot of things. Again, Ancestral Recall, draw 3 for 1. What? Black Lotus, all right, 3 mana, just a burst of it, okay. Or like, oh, but it's just colorless mana, so like you can get 2 of it by paying 1 with the Sol Ring. My gosh. Again, like literally these days, again, a good mana rock, a solid mana rock is one that literally costs 2 in taps for 1. This does the reverse. This is 4 times as efficient as solid mana rocks out there. Again, if you want the exact same effect of this card on a reasonable card, again, you've got to go up to Worn Power Stone, which costs 3 mana, that comes into play tapped, and that's still a very good card. Or you need to go to 4 mana for like an Urgolem's Eye or Hedron Archive, essentially, right? That then taps for 2, but it costs 4. You need to pay a lot more for that than this. Like, again, literally, getting half the amount of mana back that you put into something is the expectation in Magic, right? Again, if I am ramping and I spend 2 on ramping growth, I get 1 land. Cool, good for me. If I am ramping and I spend 2 on Felwar Stone, cool, I get 1 mana back from that. Good for me. This is literally like, well, let's just break all the rules in Magic, and math doesn't matter, and yeah, it's so hyper efficient, and well, whoever plays it first is just way ahead of everyone else, and it's just funny when someone does that, and everything. I disagree, personally. I do personally think that Sol Ring shouldn't exist in Magic, or at the very least, again, at the very least, stop lying to yourself, Wizards, and saying, well, okay, we've got this
incredibly innovative format now, where we have like these different categories of decks, all right? And there you go. Okay, we have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. In all these, we've got these game changers list, okay? We've got this game changers list that is very well thought out, very well detailed, and then Sol Ring, just ignore that one. Just ignore that one. That's not, don't worry about it, even though that should really well be on the game changers list, or possibly even banned, because all these other cards that are actually banned, like the Moxes, are banned, but don't worry about that. This is just special, and it's Commander, and wee! Sol Ring! We keep reprinting it so it's cheap, and if it wasn't, it would be banned. You should never print in the first place, but again, it's hard to blame Wizards from years and years and years ago for not understanding certain things, but again, because it's not a game changer, and it should obviously be a game changer, and again, that would just make it so like, well, now every precon's a 3, oh no. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but let's actually go about things again in a thought out. If you're gonna say like we went out with a thought out approach, a logical approach to this, and we actually thought everything through, you can't just be like, well, we didn't apply logic to this. Logic doesn't apply to Sol Ring. Goodness gracious. Either make it a game changer, you're never gonna ban it, or admit that you're being dumb with this, okay? Just come on. Everyone needs to admit that Sol Ring and Commander is just kind of dumb, all right? It just is. It just is. It's so overpowered. It's so pushed. It should never have been printed. Okay, to wrap things up, outside of the actual game changers, again, cards that would probably be, most of them would be on this list of like cards that should never have been printed because obviously they're so pushed that they made that list. Roaming Throne. Again, a card that was just like, hey, no restrictions at all because a lot of commanders are built around a triggered ability, and now all of a sudden this is just, hey, triggers, 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 yay. And also for tribal decks as well. Or how about again, Nyxbloom Ancient, a tripler that didn't need to exist because, hey, mana is incredibly powerful. Or, hey, blink effects. Usually those are a bit slower or like one-off effects, but no, let's just make it Absurd with Displacer Kitten because we know it's going to be a push card. So why don't we just do that? Why not? Guardian Project, literally again, just like, hey, are you playing Commander? Draw a card when creature comes into play. Yeah, you can't lie to me and say there's extra restrictions on this. Exquisite Blood, yeah, a card that in multiplayer formats is problematic, and also combos with a ham sandwich. Doubling Season, also combos with a ham sandwich, and just literally just does way too much. Reconnaissance, personal vendetta. I will admit to that one. That is a personal vendetta for me, where it's just like, don't make cards that, like, literally, again, you intended it this way, errata it to make it work the way that it was intended. Like, literally, like, you made a mistake with it, errata it. So it makes sense to new players, to players that like literally like aren't trying to game the system essentially with Magic cards. It's an obnoxious card. Boseiju, yeah, these lands were mistakes basically, where it's like, yeah, they're just too efficient at what they do, and there's like no reason not to run them with certain decks, which is why they see so much play. Skullclamp, again, literally it was a mistake when you printed it. You're like, oh yeah, -1's the downside. Oh wait, it's an upside. Oh my gosh. Again, literally, you could change this. Again, everyone out there, please. Just let me know in the comments below. If this changed to equipped creature gets +1, +10, would it see less play? Like literally, again, like what other card could you say like, okay, I'm giving this 11 additional toughness, and it would see less play? I think it would. I'm 99% positive it would, because the fact that this card is literally just, okay, I want to take out my small creatures and draw a bunch of cards. That's what this does. Getting a bunch of toughness, yeah, would be great for certain decks, but like you wouldn't really care about it as much as just drawing a ton of cards. So yeah, what other card can you say about that? They made a mistake when they printed it. And finally, Sol Ring, I'm sorry. Until the day I stop playing, I will be just saying that I think Sol Ring and Commander shouldn't be a thing. Again, like, you just, like, make this exception where, like, okay, we've got this well-thought-out game changers list. We're logical with everything. Here's our logic. La, 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 la. By the way, don't be logical at all with Sol Ring. La, 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 la. It makes no sense. You should never have printed these cards, Wizards. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.